Welcome everyone. Sean Colley here, back with another episode, another podcast. I got the chance to sit down with a fantastic human being called Zoilita Grant, based in the United States. We got to talking about all things personal development, how to succeed. I go into so many questions. So she's also a master practitioner in hypnosis. Now, this was quite a valuable one for me. So hopefully it is for you as well, to understand a bit more about that side of personal development and that field. So have your pen and pads ready. Make sure you take notes, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey Zoilita, I hope you're well. Again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. Super special, guys. So you're going to be, hopefully by the end of this podcast, you'll have some fantastic steps, things that you can take, actions you can take, so you can be on your way to success. So welcome. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some tips with the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for coming on again. Much appreciated. Your time's super valuable. And we've all got things to do. So much appreciated. So the goal of this, like we've already touched on before we've came onto the podcast, is to ultimately give so much value to people watching this. So hopefully with the questions I've got for you, you're going to give us some light, give us some value, and I'll chip in as well, of course. But so let's get into it, right? So you started off as a psychotherapist, hypnotherapist in like private practice, right? So can you tell about how it led to your work in the hypnotic success coaching that you currently do?
I did psychotherapy for 35 years and was really successful at doing it. But at a certain point, I realized that it was more important for people to focus on where they wanted to be than where they came from. And so I closed my psychotherapy practice. I went back to school. I became a life coach and then a business coach. And I've been doing what I call hypnotic success coaching for about 12 years.
Okay. So what was the change then? So you found that people kind of, was it you that shifted? You wanted to go down that path because you was more passionate about it? Or?
Absolutely. I believe that everything is about your mindset. And the more that you can transform your mindset into a mindset for success, the happier life that you have. When you have a happy life, it ripples out into the world around you. And I celebrate the value of psychotherapy, but I found for me there was too much of a tendency to look at the woundedness in people rather than to look at the potential.
Yeah, it's so true what you said there. I could go off on so many branches. I mean, Tony Robbins, he says it himself that progress equals happiness. So going towards success and goals and results while still enjoying the process. So that's super important. So yeah, it's a massive shift. So that's amazing. So you've actually got a massive group as well. I believe that's how we started talking to each other on Facebook. You've got the Mindset for Success community now. It's a fantastic community, guys. So if you're not in there already, make sure that you join it. It's a Facebook group, fantastic community, and that's how we connected. So again, it's a pleasure to be in your group. You've got over 7,500 people in that group as well, right?
600 now. And I think one of the things about my group that makes it kind of special is that I allow people such as you to insert wisdom into the group, as long as it's not safety or advertising. It gives you a chance to share your message, but it also gives the people the chance to be able to receive the wisdom.
Yeah, this is the amazing thing about technology. It's just unbelievable how we can connect. And I guess for you, it's a massive platform for like your coaching. So your coaching platform, your coaching program, it's called the Hypnotic Success Coaching Program, right? So I've got so many questions about it, but tell us what it is, tell us what it contains, what elements are involved in it, and how it helps people.
So all my life, I had a passion for supporting people to improve their lives by transforming their consciousness. And so I've worked in hypnosis for nearly 50 years, and I know a lot about it. And I know that if you really want to change, you have to get rid of the programming in the subconscious, because the subconscious is 85% of the mind. And the conscious mind is 15%. And very often when we find the enemy in our life, it tends to be us. And it tends to be self-defeating patterns we develop through our childhood and adolescence. And so I've developed a system where we clear the conscious block, shift the mindset, and help people achieve goals.
Yeah.
Now to train other people to do it.
So you've got a step-by-step process. You've got the experience. You've gone through the process, and no doubt you've got so many results from the clients you've worked with. So that's super, for me, super important to see how you've done it over time, etc., and how you've helped people like this. Because as a personal development coach myself, seeing someone like you who's done it for a long time and still passionate about it because it works, right? This is what it's all about. It really does work. But I'm sure you'd agree, right, that you can know it all, you can read all the books, but without action, without certain tangible steps, creating results, it means nothing, right? So no doubt in your program you go through the tangible results as well in steps.
Well, there's always an inner game and an outer game. And the outer game is learning skills and tools and ability. The inner game is about mastering yourself, your habits, mastering your time, mastering your money. And the training that I've developed, the Success Coach training, plays the inner outer game to transform the students as they learn how to transform others.
Yeah, that's powerful. Really, really powerful. It's so interesting. I've run businesses for nearly a decade, and it wasn't until when COVID hit, the mindset was very low. So I got a coach on board, and a mindset shift that happened through the progress made me want to then become a personal development coach. So the mindset is so important. Self-belief, getting rid of self-doubt. And if you can do that, anything's possible. Anything's really possible.
So I'd like to share something with the audience, which I call the 3 M's. The 3 M's are the most important thing to focus on. The first one is maximize your mind power. Learn to use your subconscious mind, learn meditation, hypnosis, other mindful states. The second M is monitor your self-talk.
Yeah.
How yourself affects your performance in the world. And the third one is maintain an optimistic attitude. The more that you believe that you can achieve, the more you can achieve.
Yeah, it's so true, right? It's easy when it's said, but the truth is, like you said, the day-to-day actions and things that go off in our lives, it can be easy for people to develop over time a negative mindset. The self-awareness to be able to talk to yourself and check in with yourself is a skill in itself.
Yes.
So it's super important. So yeah, so guys, if you're interested in hypnosis, psychotherapy, etc., the coaching program, send Zoilita a DM and she can tell you more about it, of course. Yeah, it's interesting. It's so interesting. What do you reckon this is going to the core now, because the mindset's an important thing. So what kind of key habits and skills do you reckon a average person looking to develop requires to obtain the vision of success?
To work on your self-esteem. Self-esteem is made up of three things. There's your self-image, your picture of you in your mind. For women, it's 70% body image. For men, it's 50-50. 70% body image and characteristics you think you have. The second thing is your self-confidence. Self-confidence has to come from inside. You have to know. You have to know. And the last piece is innate worth. Regardless of what you do, you have to believe you're worthwhile, valuable to be able to be in the world.
It's so interesting because so many people chase external validation, but really and truly, it's all, you can fix everything that is required to be fixed up here from within. So there's got to be tangible steps that need to be taken to increase the self-belief, to increase the confidence. And of course, you know this, and I'm sure I know that you work with people on these kind of things. So how do you work with your clients? Just a bit more depth into how you work with the clients to create that mindset for success.
So one of the things that I do is I do with clients to vividly imagine themselves achieving things with feelings attached. So images are what you do to program the mind. The emotions are the feelings. And both are really important. So I teach in that experience. I also teach them self-hypnosis. I teach them how to meditate. But one of the biggest part of my work is really hypnotically clearing those blocks. It's kind of like you have a programming body, and that programming body is just like your biocomputer was programmed with certain kinds of filtering systems. Oh, I'm not good enough. Or, oh, I don't really deserve it. Or, oh, I always mess up.
Yeah.
Or, perceive I fail, I feel like a failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of that
experiences, etc.
is woven into people's minds. So a lot of what I do is I just clear it all away and just throw it into historical data. And it's historical data, and no longer impacts you.
Yeah.
And I work in the belief system to instill positive beliefs that are life affirming.
So for someone not knowing much about hypnosis, self-hypnosis, being taught it, it sounds like you've pretty much gone over no doubt one of the massive benefits. But can you briefly explain for anyone who doesn't know too much about the topic, what are the benefits of hypnosis?
So first of all,
in the field of success and going after the results,
I want to define hypnosis as a tool for being able to operate your own mind. The most powerful computer in the world is between your ears. There are no manuals. So I help people design a manual to operate their mind. When you get into the subconscious, you have access to memories. So you can clear memories and put them into history. If they're history, they don't affect you.
Yeah.
You can affect everything having to do with the body. There's scientific research. You can affect metabolism. You can affect blood pressure. You can affect hormone balance. Okay? It removes stress. Everybody is so stressed.
Yeah.
And stress interferes with performance. So you get stress out of the way. You connect into their intuition, and you encourage them to live their best life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So clear, so to the point, so precise. That's what it's all about, guys. So, you know, investigate this stuff if you're not sure about it. If you want to know more, again, reach out. But these kind of tools, these aids that you can utilize to become your best self are readily available. Information's out there. Now, for yourself, Zoilita, you've written many books. I'm aware of this. I've obviously researched a bit about you. I know you've mentioned it. I've researched those books, etc. And the power in them is magnificent. So if we start to steer from the average person who might not know about it, you've now explained it in a good, clear manner, but moving towards potentially business owners, moving towards salespeople, how can, you know, the power of hypnosis help them to become successful in whatever they see, but more so financially, as we're talking about businesses and business owners?
So small business owners is one of the largest group of people I worked with. And I worked with a wonderful chiropractic couple. In fact, there's a video on my website. And they were great chiropractors who worked really hard and never had any money.
Okay.
I worked with them, and in 18 months, business improved 400%.
Wow.
Because it turned out they had some blocks against money. You know, they thought people that have money are not good spiritual people.
Yeah. All the usual kind of stuff that is subconsciously just ingrained in them because they might not have reached the levels they might have set out to reach initially, right? And all sorts of things like that.
So I gave a workshop one time on cold calling. And so what that workshop basically consisted of was clearing the blocks, doing cold calling, getting in the telephone state. Okay, it's like you turn a channel on a TV and you're now in the telephone state, and creating a good, comfortable script. So all of the people that attended that workshop really felt a lot of benefit from it. You know, because they were able to do their job without getting emotionally connected to, am I going to be rejected?
That subconscious flip of the switch to clear out the crap, as it said, and focus on the goals and successes. So it's super, super clear. So how can small businesses benefit and profit from this then? So we now know that it clears the stressors, it clears any subconscious blocks. So by doing that, no doubt it can help people profit. But is there anything else that you can add to potentially small businesses, right? So
here's a real quick thumbnail tip. Okay?
Yeah.
So mind is consisted of words and pictures. So when you put words and pictures together, you create whole brain learning. So if you, as a human development coach, develop a power image of yourself as your best, doing your best job, and you create your own little mantra. Like I use a mantra that says, everything always works out for me. So if you have that mantra and you have that power image and you put them together, it programs subconscious to achieve.
Yeah. How long do you reckon it takes for this to happen? Can it vary from person to person depending on their mindset and other factors, or is there a trend?
So 90% of people can easily do hypnosis. 90. The youngest person I hypnotized was 18 months old.
Wow.
The oldest person I hypnotized was 95, and they were getting ready to transition.
That must have been interesting. That would have been interesting. How did they come out of it? How did they come into it at the beginning? How did they come out of it?
So,
in terms of
the 18 months,
we'll go for the older. We'll go for the 95 one.
So he was a man that wanted to make. He believed in reincarnation.
Okay.
He wanted to make sure that he had forgiven everyone in this lifetime, done any kind of restitution he needed to do, and use any kind of lessons that he had learned. And so we did about 5 sessions of hypnosis and just kind of cleaned up the past. And he got to a state of feeling in peace and harmony.
Mm.
And it was a really positive experience. And with the 18-month-old, I hypnotized her to sleep all night.
I imagine the parents was very happy with you then at the end of it.
We're just adoring me.
Yeah, I imagine. So it helps from the both ends of the scale. It can help depending on what their situation is. So it's very, very interesting. So again, guys, reach out if you need any assistance with this kind of stuff. I know that you do mentorship, right? So how long have you been doing this for again? You said about 12 years for this venture.
I've been in the world of hypnosis, personal growth for 50 years. I manages the nonprofits like a YMCA and a drug and alcohol program. And then I've been in private practice the whole rest of my life. 35 years as a psychotherapist, 12 years coach.
Mm. So you've gathered so much experience, which leads me perfect to the next question, right? So from your knowledge and experience and what you've visibly seen, what are some of the skills and some of the habits, just to go over, in order for people to succeed? What are the tangible skills that people need to develop to succeed?
So let's imagine that success is a table, and the table needs to have legs.
Mm.
And the legs of the table are scheduling and planning and tracking and accountability.
Mm.
And that's why and if you can't afford a coach, then you buddy coach with someone.
Mm.
Because that idea that, first of all, you begin to plan what it is that you want. And then you need to start scheduling when you're going to do that. And then you need to track it. And then you need to be accountable to someone.
Very interesting.
The table.
I've actually read some studies on accountability, and there's a study that was done where I believe it was 78% of people that were held accountable to someone ended up achieving the goals that they initially set. So, and I've personally experienced this. So I've got a coach, it's all, what I've noticed is sports people, they have coaches, right? Music people, they have coaches. Why would it be different for a business person not to have a business coach, for example, right?
I mean, when you have a coach, you've now joined, like you say, Hollywood stars. You've joined Super Bowl winners. You've joined Olympic athletes. Okay, you've joined high performance executives. As a small business owner, get a coach. It's a tax deductible.
Yeah. It's always helpful. And it's also interesting that you mentioned the scheduling. So something that I do, it's called the PDS model. So it's prioritizing, delegating tasks. So the things that you don't want to be doing, that time effective tasks. And then the S is scheduling. So what I've found from my experience of scheduling, and I'd love to hear your opinion, your 2 cents on this too, because when I had a to-do list, it was longer than my arm, and I'd get overwhelmed and stressed because I'd look at it and then I'd think, oh, it's too much, procrastinate, nothing gets done. So what I then started to do is I took the list and I started non-urgent, so non-priority and priority. And then when I figured out the priority, I would schedule them hour by hour. And I still do this. So I'll use a calendar on my laptop, for example. And then it no longer is a to-do list. It's a get-done list. So everything's scheduled by the hour. And I seem to get more productive, more efficient, less stressed, less overwhelmed, and happier because I know I'm progressing, right? So what's your take on the scheduling? That's kind of like how I operate, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well.
So my time values is a balance. And so I color coordinate schedules.
Okay, very organized.
So it appears on my iMac, but social experiences are orange.
Yeah.
Spiritual experiences are purple.
Okay.
Direct services are blue. Business activities are red. Personal care is green. And errands, etc., are brown.
Okay.
And
you
then,
see, I already imagine that being so much more less stressful just by knowing which colors are which, as opposed to all being the same color.
But what it allows me to do is look at my calendar and see how balanced my life is.
Sure.
Like I like to work 24 hours a week.
Okay.
I don't like to work any more than 24 hours in direct client services. I like to work an additional 4 or 5 hours a week on business development, or like I just did a video shoot in Boise with business scripts with business development. So I spend like 5 hours a week on business development.
Yeah.
My total work life is only going to take 30 hours. So the rest of my life can be a full, rich life.
Mm.
And that's so important for you all to remember.
Mm.
You don't want to let part of the wheel of life becomes heavy. You want it all to be satisfied.
Yeah. So I guess you break it down into, like you say, with the wheel of life. So health, social life, business, etc. And you'll plan accordingly and then schedule things accordingly. So you know where you're at. And I imagine that leads to a much less stressful life and more balanced.
You know, here's an interesting thing. Up until I started working with my coach that I worked with, which was about 18 months, I had never actually income. You know, I looked at my bank balance. I never tracked how much income I made and how many sales I made. And since she got me into that habit, my income has dramatically increased. And I believe that anything we put attention on energizes. Tracking is really important.
Very interesting. Yeah. So having your KPIs, making sure that you're on top of it, more organized around the area that you want to excel in. So there's some tangible things then. So scheduling, prioritizing, having a balance, and tracking. So there's some of the tangible things that people can do.
Yes. And
what kind of business? Oh, there's more. There's more.
Don't forget about accountability.
Accountability.
Coaches.
Yeah. And then it's a case of living it and doing it, and not just knowing it upstairs, up here, but actually living it. And that's the difference, I believe. And no doubt you've seen it as well.
Yes.
So guys, you can know it all from this. You can make sure you're writing notes and getting all this information down, because this is valuable stuff. If you have any questions, as always, drop a comment below in the comments and we'll be sure to get back to you. But this is valuable stuff, guys. It's about implementation, you know, plus the intention, plus your action, will lead to a result. So what kind of businesses do you like working with? What are your main ones that you enjoy working with?
Work a lot with people you would see in the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
You know, doctors, real estate agents, chiropractors, massage therapists.
Yeah, that's kind of where you're passionate about and you like to see them prosper. That gives you the most joy, no doubt.
Yes.
Has that always been the case? Or
I want to teach people. So would it be okay if I gave the website of my training?
absolutely, yeah. We can put that in the comments or we can put that in the bio. Yeah, not a problem.
It's www.sixfiguresuccesscoach.com.
Guys, you're around the right people if you're watching this video. So go check the website out, because this is exactly what you need to be hearing if you're looking to progress and develop. So what advice would you, I was going to say something else there, but that was it before we go to the next question. So has it always been like that? Have you always been passionate about helping those people, or has it kind of changed over time?
Oh, it's changed over time. I've had many specialties because I'm not burned out at all.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Burned out at all is I change what I do. It's always about human growth and development. It's always about transformation. But, you know, a couple of decades ago, I specialized in working with ADD.
Okay.
I spent several years as a relationship. I worked a lot with people with pain, you know, so I tend to get like a focus and like really concentrate that for a few years and then move on to something else.
Is it when you feel the passion lowering, dying potentially, and then moving on? Or
I don't think passion lowers, because it's the theme. The theme is supporting people to transform. It's just different audiences. I like the different audiences because I like to master new skills. There's a lot of difference. A 11-year-old boy with ADD and working with a woman who is opening a brand new business. So I always that aspect of being called to be better.
Yeah, I think there's a really important message in there for anyone looking to progress. You know, always keeping it moving, depending on where you're at and what you want to do, and always progressing. It all comes down to the same thing a lot of the time, right? Progression is happiness. Progression is always building and growing.
Yes, definitely.
So what kind of successes? Tell us about some success stories. You've got your six-figure success business. You've got your coaching business. What kind of successes have you gave and helped people achieve working with you over the years? I'm sure there's more loads.
I recently heard from a student named Cindy who came to me with this: I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough energy. She was working as a receptionist 40 hours a week, making $30,000 a year. She had 2 young daughters. Okay, she trained to be not a success coach. She specializes with people with weight to give them mastery. She made $80,000 last year, working 25 hours a week.
Wow.
So she has time, money, and a lot more energy.
That is a massive, massive success. I bet that makes you feel. How does that make you feel in terms of your help?
Like what I'm doing is making a difference in the world. I'm a person that's not actually motivated by money, but I am motivated by impact. And when you can someone transform, how can people better than that?
Yeah. if you help people with your value, your personal value based on experience, and you help people achieve what they want, that is probably one of the best satisfying things, because as they say, the secret to living is giving, and that could be in value, which then comes back financially. So, and of course other ways. So yeah, that's a massive success. So how long was that person working with you, or potentially still working with you?
I trained her for about 8 months, because I'm doing my training as a individual one-to-one year. I'm going to start classes next year, but I'm still in the curriculum, the books, and the materials. So I trained her one-to-one, I'd say 10 months.
Okay.
And then she opened a practice, and just has been wonderful.
So you do one-to-one. I imagine, if anyone's interested in that, they can go straight to your website or join the group, send you a message.
Yeah.
No doubt, as I'm sure you can imagine, just like myself, one-to-one is in like individual one-to-one, right? So naturally the prices are probably premium because it's one.
No, actually what I did was I'm the price of the training itself is $9,999. When I train people one-to-one, I do it for $6,700, and they get all the books and materials, because I'm still testing my curriculum, because I want it to be in the world.
That's really interesting. Yeah, it's usually the other way around. Yeah, that's really good then. So did you say you do group coaching as well, or is there any other things that you do to help people?
Right now it's one-to-one.
Sure, yeah. And that works best for you, and that's where you can give the most value one-to-one to get the results ultimately, no doubt.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's been absolutely fantastic. I do have one more question, which I think is going to be super beneficial to people potentially just starting out or small businesses. But before I ask that question, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been such a great conversation that I truly think we could talk for ages about this kind of stuff, helping people with the mindset, what tangible things they can do. So who knows, maybe we'll have another talk in the future. But thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. So I'll wrap it up with this final question. So what advice would you give to someone, a small business owner or an entrepreneur just starting out, someone who's right at the bottom and they're trying to build, whether it's a 6, 7-figure business or beyond? At that stage at the beginning, what would you recommend with them starting out?
Change your mind and change your life.
Oh, there we have it. Simple as that. That's the catch line, guys. That is the catch line. It's so true. The mindset is such an important thing. Anything else to add on that, or is you keeping nice, short and sweet there? Yeah, I love it. The thing that I've experienced and what I've seen from my coaching clients is when they're starting out, they'll hit a certain point and then they realize that they are not where they need to be mentally with their mindset. So they hit that plateau. And I've experienced it as well. I got to a point where I wasn't the person I needed to be to go to that next level. And it all came down to mindset, self-belief.
Yes.
And then there's levels, right? So, you can always grow, and that's great. That's a great thing to know. But it only takes a couple of small jumps in self-belief and confidence to have that extra fire to then move forward. But that, I agree, 100% the mindset. Zoilita, it's been absolutely fantastic and it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Guys, I hope this has been valuable. If there's any questions, if you want to know more about the services, we'll put it in the bio and you can check it out. You can check the group out as well. We'll put the group in there so we can all work together as a community. But once again, Zoilita, really appreciate your time and I wish you all the best and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.